Hello and welcome. Here is a trig question in which our task is to evaluate cos 15 degrees raised to the fourth power plus sine 15 degrees raised to the fourth power without using calculator or tables. Now the first thing to do is to recall one of the identities from algebra, that is algebraic identities. Okay, that is, let's recall the identity that if we have a raised to the power of 2, let me use this, a raised to the power of 2 plus b raised to the power of 2. Okay, now the expanded form of this on the right hand side will be the square of the sum of a and b minus 2 multiplied by ab. Okay, that is ab, that's product of a and b. So I'm going to apply that in this case. So which means if we have a raised to the fourth power plus b raised to the fourth power, okay, then this will be the square of the sum of the squares of a and b. Okay, the square of the sum of the squares of a and b minus 2 multiplied by a squared and b squared. So which means what we're going to do in this case, okay, from the question we're given, we can say let a raised to the power of, that is let a, okay, let a raised to the power of 2. I'm using this, okay, let a raised to the power of 2 equals to cos squared 15 degrees, and b raised to the power of 2 to be equals to sine squared 15 degrees. Okay, so which means cos 15 degrees raised to the power of 4. Okay, I'm using this identity, then plus sine 15 degrees, okay, raised to the power of 4 will be equals to, remember we're using the second, I introduced two identities, that is two algebraic identities. Okay, now this first one is just, the one that will make us understand the particular one, this particular one, that is the one I'm going to use to solve the same question, that is this question. Now this is when we have sum of squares. Okay, sum of squares of a and b is equals to the square of the sum of a and b minus 2 multiplied by ab. Okay, now we know that the bond between a and b is what? Multiplication. Okay, so 2 times a times b, that will be 2ab. Now we have a raised to the fourth power plus b raised to the fourth power, and I said that because we have the trig, you can see what we are giving is, we are giving cos 15 degrees raised to the power of 4 plus sine 15 degrees raised to the power of 4. So if we are considering sum of, that is sum of two, what's it called now? This is power 4. Okay, is it quadratic? Yes, sum of 2, that is sum of a raised to the power of 4 and b raised to the power of 4. So we're going to have the square of the sum of the squares of a and b minus 2 multiplied by a squared then b squared. So in this case we're going to have, let me use a square bracket, cos squared 15 degrees plus sine squared 15 degrees raised to the power of, or raised to the power of 2 minus 2 times cos squared 15 degrees, okay, then sine squared 15 degrees. Now let's again recall from one of the, that's, we have what we call Pythagorean identity. So let's recall the Pythagorean identity, cos squared theta plus sine squared theta, which will be equals to what? 1. So which means theta in this case is 15 degrees. So cos squared 15 degrees plus sine squared 15 degrees will be 1. So which means we still have our cos 15 degrees raised to the power of 4 plus sine 15 degrees raised to the power of 4 to be equals to, so this will be 1, okay, that is, this will be 1, then raised to the power of 2 minus 2 cos squared 15 degrees multiplied by sine squared 15 degrees. Okay, so now this will be equals to 1 minus, now in this case, I can write this expression, okay, I can write this expression to be 2 cos 15 degrees sine 15 degrees, okay, that is parentheses cos 15 degrees sine 15 degrees raised to the power of 2, then multiply by 2. Now, again, to be able to write this as the double angle formula for sine, okay, now, then, let's recall the double angle formula for sine. Let's recall, we know that if we have sine 2 theta, this will be equals to 2 sine theta cos theta. So where theta is 15 degrees in this case. So now, for me to have the product of cos 15 degrees and sine 15 degrees in this form, then we can have that cos 15 degrees raised to the power of 4 plus sine 15 degrees raised to the power of 4 will be equals to 1 minus 2 multiplied by, so I'm going to write this to be, let me use a square bracket, 2 over 2 cos 15, okay, 2 over 2 cos 15 sine 15, okay, then raised to the power of 2, raised to the power of 2, okay, so that this will be 1 minus 2 multiplied by, now 2 cos 15 degrees sine 15 degrees will be equals to sine 2 times 15 degrees, and that will be 30. So this will be 2 multiplied by, so this will be, this is going to be sine 30 degrees, okay, over what? Over 2, then raised to the power of 2, raised to the power of 2. So from here, we can now have cos 15 degrees raised to the power of 4 plus sine 15 degrees raised to the power of 4 to be equals to 1 minus 2 times 1 over 4, because 2 squared, that is 1 over 2 times sine 30 degrees, okay, then raised to the power of 2, that will be 1 over 4. Then for sine 30 degrees, so this will be for sine 30 degrees, so I'm going to have sine 30 degrees raised to the power of 2. Okay, so this will be 1/2. So this will be equals to 1 minus 1 over 2. Okay, now sine 30 degrees is 1 over 2. Okay, then I'm going to raise that to the power of 2. Remember, sine 30 degrees is equals to 0.5 or 1 over 2. So that this will be 1 minus 1 over 2. Now 1 over 2 raised to the power of 2, that will be 1 over 4. So this will be 1 over 2 times 1 over 4, and that will be 1 over 8. So we have 1 minus 1 over 8, because 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 4 is 8. Okay, so that cos 15 degrees raised to the 4th power plus sine 15 degrees raised to the 4th power will be equals to, we simplify this will be 8 minus 1 over 8, because I can write this 1, okay, as a fraction, okay, to be 1 over 1, okay. So the LCM will be 8, that is the least common multiple. So this will be equals to 7 over 8. And why is it 8? 7 over 8, because 8 divided by 1 is 8. 8 times 1, that's 8. Then 8 divided by 8 is 1. 1 times minus 1, that will be minus 1. And then we have 8 minus 1 over 8. So which means that the value of cos 15 degrees raised to the 4th power plus sine 15 degrees raised to the 4th power is 7 over 8. So cos 15 degrees raised to the 4th power plus sine 15 degrees raised to the fourth power is equals to 7/8. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.